double up. 3 or 4 times, I ain't telling no lies, I just run it up. Never let a hard time humble us. Double up. I ain't telling no lies, I just, yeah. I ain't telling no lies, I just
5, 4, 3, 2, that's time. I got to you that money. My dreams come true. My life in diamonds. Who knew? Who knew? Who knew?
Turn 7 to a 14, 14 to a whole thing. Lord knows it's a cold game. Switched up on you, man. Big body take both lanes. Backseat blowing propane. All black, fire gold chains. Young rich, bossed up on his own, man. My new sound like a soul train. Tookie Williams over Coltrane. Eric B by the rope chain. RC, we for show bang. Tiny Lokes and they go crazy. What you know about the game? Was you born in the 80s? Did your mama smoke? Have you ever seen the whole thing? Was you drove to the streets cause you grew up on show change? When the beige, it remind me when these rappers drop duds and they quotes change. Had to part with the low fade. I was standing in front of Knicks with my for the whole day. Drive-bys, I was road rage. And we park and hop out, learn levels to this whole thing. Old school play the OJs, trying to make a slow change. Mama still slaving for a low wage. Trying to double up, yeah. 3 or 4 times, I ain't telling no lies, I just run it up. Never let a hard time humble us. Double up. I ain't telling no lies, I just, yeah. I ain't telling no lies, I just
5, 4, 3, 2, that's time. I got to you that money. My dreams come true. My life in diamonds. Who knew? Who knew? Who knew?
Hard to catch what you can't see. I grew up to be who I wanna be, so the more niggas talk, I'ma shine. Might have been way before it's time. Posted with my back against the wall. Life is a but she mine. The rag 6 too, yeah, it's mine. The west side too, yeah, it's mine. What you know about? Your poster on the wall at the dealership. Leaving in the bed, legs trembling. Getting banged on for your penalties. What you know about? Your response be the reason you exist. Lucky I ain't get caught up in the twist. Young blue pager on my hip, so as the champagne spill and the car accelerate and the beat gon' cry. I'll be going to the bank at least 3-4 times.
I'll be going to the bank at least 3 or 4 times. All right, what's happening, y'all? We back in the building. Yeah. Been away for a while, man. Let me see when let me go back in time a little bit. We can see when this last damn, that was March. Oh shit. The last episode of Let's Talk About HEX was March 30th. Oof. So we got March. So you figure April. So that's April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November 1st is 7 months, and it's the 17th. So 7 months and 17 days. Listen, man. I don't know if y'all been buying HEX, or I should say within the HEX ecosystem over these last 7 months. But what I can tell you is that the bull market has begun. Let me turn these notifications off. Hold on. I gotta mute the chat real quick. All right. All right, so we're gonna get into some good stuff this evening. I've been promising a HEX stream now, I think for a couple of months. I think that might have been like maybe August, September when I started talking about doing another one. But for some reason I just I insisted on waiting. I think now's a good time to come on and start talking about things because the bull market is kicking off. And there is still some time to begin to accumulate if you have not started yet. But I want to talk about all things HEX. I want to talk about all things DeFi. For those of you that are not that educated on crypto and the crypto space, you probably have only heard of Bitcoin. And you probably by now can see what Bitcoin has begun doing as far as where it's moving to in price. So this is what we're going to get into throughout this stream. Let me see which screen is the best. Is that one good? Yeah. Am I in the way there? Let me see. Is that better? I think that's better. I'm over in the corner. All right, cool. So we're going to use this setup here. And let me see. I'm going to be opening up some charts. I finally got these charts on the DEX screener organized. And this website that I'm on is called dexscreener.com. They have a functionality within this application that allows you to open up multiple charts. So you can see I have 3 charts open up here on the top. I got 3 in the next row. I got another 3 here. Got another 3 here. So what I got, 12. That's 12 plus another one down here. So I got 13 charts. So I think that they let you open up to 16 individual charts. And then when you have your charts, set up, then you can open them up so that you can look at them full screen like this. It opens up your chart all the way. And then you can look in more detail at the chart and at the price movements of the particular chart that you have open. All right, so we're going to start off looking at the price chart of HEX. Then I'm going to make my way over to PulseChain. Then I'll go into PulseX. And then I'm going to go into some of the additional coins that I've added into my overall portfolio for crypto that is still under the HEX umbrella. So let me just help those of you that are brand new to all of this understand what HEX is. HEX is a coin created by a gentleman by the name of Richard Hart. This was created in 2019. The purpose of HEX was to be the next generation of Bitcoin. I often say a better version of Bitcoin, but I think that it's more accurate to say a better executed version of Bitcoin, because it's not, I don't want people to think that we're looking at HEX as something that's replacing Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not going anywhere. Bitcoin has helped to prove what crypto is capable of doing. And what we're doing with HEX is what Bitcoin was originally intended to be done. What I mean by that is this. Crypto was created so that people would be able to move value, move money from one place to another anonymously. It was created to help offset the decrease in value of money. Because make no mistake about it, when you begin to delve into and to understand the monetary system, you'll begin to understand that money is constantly being devalued, meaning that more and more money is being printed every day. And let me open up the HEX chart as I talk about HEX. More and more money is being printed every day. Okay. And let me just expand it. How do I want to do this? Log chart and automatic. Yeah, we'll do it like that. So more and more money. So for example, the US dollar. More and more US dollars are printed every day. This is because the monetary system is 100% based on debt. It's not based on the value of anything. It's like an IOU to the Federal Reserve. Money is literally being borrowed from the Federal Reserve Bank, which, by the way, is a private corporation. It's not the government. It is a private lending institution that lends money, quote unquote, to the government. It lends those Federal Reserve notes. If you look at money in your pocket, if any of you have paper money on you by chance, it's so funny because nowadays I very rarely ever have cash, like paper money. But if you look at your paper money, on the paper, it says Federal Reserve note. It's telling you what it is. It is a Federal Reserve note. You know what a note is? A note is a loan, is it not? Just like your car note, right? A note is a loan. It's an IOU. So that Federal Reserve note is a loan to the government that allows value to exchange hands through that note. So we exchange money for goods and services in the real economy, for products, for services, for anything that we want to buy, anything that we want to pay for, we use money for. Now, the fact that constantly the amount of money in circulation is expanding, it's getting bigger and bigger, this means that the debt owed to the Federal Reserve is increasing. This is where the national debt comes from. There is a website called the U.S. Debt Clock, I believe it is. When you go to that site, it shows you how all of the spending for the government is broken down, and it shows you how much money is owed for individual things. The biggest number on the site is the national debt. In other words, the amount of money that is owed to the Federal Reserve by the United States. That number is constantly increasing, and it will continue to increase. People have no idea that that is a number that will never be paid down, and it is a number that will never be paid off. It's in the trillions. As a matter of fact, let me see real quick what the actual number is. And I might even share it on the screen so we could just take a look real quick. All right, I'm on the website now. This shit is insane. Let me share this. Let me share this. It's crazy. And this is correct. President Nixon took the United States off the gold standard in 71. I thought it was 73, but I could be wrong. I think it is 71. Yeah, but anyway, let me share the screen real quick. Where we at? U.S. debt clock. So I want you to see how big the number is. All right, you see that? You see this number that keeps going up? You see this? Where it says U.S. national debt? It's $36 trillion. I remember when this crossed 20 trillion. I forget exactly when it was. I'm trying to remember what year it was. Matter of fact, let me Google it. What year was that? 2018. 2018. So 2018 to now is 6 years. So the debt has almost doubled in just 6 years. I want y'all to understand this in particular because this is important to understand why crypto was so important and why crypto is the way that you'll be able to create wealth. It's also going to be the way that you'll be able to position yourself against the effect of the inherent inflation that's built into the US dollar. And really that's built into any dollar. I don't care what country it is. Every one of these countries are using fiat. Fiat just basically means unsecured notes. Fiat is not backed by anything. It's not backed by gold. It's not backed by oil. It's not backed by anything. One of the things that reinforces that the US dollar remains the dominant currency that is used around the world is the military. But I don't even want to get into all that. I want to talk about HEX. So, and let me come back to my screen over here. Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. $10,000 a second. See, and understanding the monetary system will help you understand crypto. That's why I'm talking about this. All right, let me go back to, where's my page at? Deck screener, right? Yeah, there we go. All right, so this is HEX. And as a matter of fact, before I even pull up HEX, let me pull up Bitcoin. And Deck Screener, by the way, what it shows are the cryptos that are decentralized, meaning any network that is a decentralized network is what you can find on the Deck Screener. That's what it stands for. Decentralized exchange is DEX, DEX, decentralized exchange. That's what DEX stands for. Okay. So let me pull up Bitcoin. So this is Bitcoin on PulseChain. Something that I had mentioned before is that you can actually trade or buy Bitcoin on the PulseChain network. A lot of people don't realize that. And the reason that I'm even saying that is because I'm trying to pull this chart up. What's up with this chart? Hold up. I got to get rid of that long wick. There we go. That long wick over there that was looking crazy. So this is only going back as far as May because that's when PulseChain launched. So this is Bitcoin on the PulseChain network. So in other words, the Bitcoin that you see on any chart, this is showing the price movement of Bitcoin from May up until now. And the reason that we only have that much data is because PulseChain was launched in May of 2023, by the way. So you can look back and see May of 2023 is as far back as this data goes because that's when PulseChain launched. Okay. But anyway, if you look at the price of Bitcoin currently, matter of fact, what is the price? I can't even see it. Right now it's at what, 90,850? Something like that. Let me zoom in. I'm going to make these candles bigger. I was trying to show the whole chart back from May. So we're around 90,800 currently. The high so far is 91,000. Don't be surprised if Bitcoin hits 100,000 before Christmas. A lot of people have not been talking about what the price can do now that it's kind of broken out. But Bitcoin can go up easily to 100,000 before we even get to Christmas. But anyway, so within the 4-year cycle, this is something that just happens. This is to be expected. I forgot what month it was when the halving was. I forgot what month that was. Damn. What month was that? Let me Google it. Everything is on Google. I want to say it was either August or September. Yeah, when was the halving in 2024? Oh, I'm way off. It was in April? Oh, shit. So why was I thinking August? Okay, so the halving was April. So damn, this is crazy how accurate these things are within these cycles for Bitcoin. So historically, the bull market begins anywhere between 6 to 8 months after the halving. So April was the halving, and now we're in November. How many months is that? That's 8 months, ain't it? 7? About 7 months. April to November is 7 months. The halving was on April 19th, and today's November 17th. And look at what the price of Bitcoin is. It's hitting new highs. It's crazy how accurate this stuff is. I did a live stream where I was talking about historically Bitcoin or crypto begins its bull market roughly anywhere between 6 to 8 months after the Bitcoin halving. And here we are 6 to 8 months after the Bitcoin halving. And what is Bitcoin doing? It's moving up. Now, so you can see that Bitcoin has its cycles, and this is what has driven the crypto market. A lot of things are able to be predetermined as a result of knowing the Bitcoin cycle. Excuse me. It's used to be able to know the timing of when things should begin to take place. That's all it is. So all we're really doing is using historical information, historical data. That's it. And again, it's amazing how accurate this stuff really is. All right, so now let's take a look at HEX. And let me also help to understand, for those of you that are not aware, I'm going to pull up HEX on Ethereum first. This is the HEX on Ethereum. Now, there are two versions of HEX, and I'm going to explain what they are, and I'm going to kind of explain why you even have two versions of HEX. So this is the HEX on the Ethereum network, but it is being displayed on PulseChain. Okay? So this is what we call HEX. I'm trying to see how high up did that go, that wick. That was May 16th. This is when PulseChain had launched. I guess it went up pretty high that day. This was really before you even had an opportunity to do anything back then. All right, so this is HEX. So the reason that we have two versions of HEX is because originally HEX was on Ethereum only. And y'all make sure that y'all follow me. Y'all stay with me. This is important information. Okay. HEX was initially only on Ethereum. Okay. Remember what HEX was created for from the jump. It was created to be a better version of what Bitcoin was intended to be. Remember, the reason I'm not saying a better Bitcoin anymore is because Bitcoin is not going anywhere. HEX is not here to replace Bitcoin. HEX is here to be a better version of what Bitcoin was supposed to be. Understand me? Bitcoin was supposed to be decentralized. And the reason that it's not is because you had the government, to a degree, step in and require that companies that wanted to provide access to Bitcoin collect information from the individuals that wanted to get access to Bitcoin. It's something that's called KYC, know your customer. So what this did was in turn made companies like Coinbase, companies like Kraken, Crypto.com, anybody that offers and makes Bitcoin available, they're going to require all of your information, your name, your address, your social security number. This way they can keep track of who owns crypto. This is at least what they thought they were going to be able to do. So yeah, when you buy Bitcoin off of one of these exchanges, yeah, they're able to track who you are, how much Bitcoin you bought, etc. And that's fine. They can do that. That's it's okay. Because what they cannot track, what they do not know, is how much real DeFi you have. Which is what DeFi, decentralized finance, was intended to be. So we have DeFi access now. And this is where HEX comes in. So again, let me go back. The HEX on Ethereum is the original HEX that was only on the Ethereum network. Richard Hart, who's the guy that created HEX, realized that we were going to run into an issue where on Ethereum, the price of Ethereum is going to continue to increase, right? And what this does is it raises the cost of transacting on the Ethereum network. It's what's called gas fees, okay? Y'all follow me? Gas fees is basically a transaction fee, okay? And that transaction fee on Ethereum eventually is going to be way too high. So what HEX allows you to do is what is called staking, which is basically you're minting more HEX. The longer that you stake HEX for, the more HEX that you'll collect at a later time. The longer you stake for, the more that you earn during that longer time frame that you have your HEX staked for. Throughout the amount of time that you stake your HEX for, you don't have access to that amount of HEX until that HEX matures. When it matures, you'll receive the original HEX that you staked, and you'll receive the yield added on to that amount of HEX. So it has a mechanism built in that inflates HEX, but the inflation goes to the holder of the HEX that staked it. So it's basically a way for you to multiply your HEX. And as HEX appreciates in price over time, what you're doing is you're making sure that you don't touch your HEX for X amount of time, giving it time to accumulate the inflation, which is basically the HEX increasing itself. This is what HEX does. And if you think about that idea is crazy, because with Bitcoin, the way that yield was earned on Bitcoin, or rewards were earned on Bitcoin, was through mining. You had to have a supercomputer and you could mine Bitcoins, quote unquote, for free. But it's really not free, because you're going to have a high ass electricity bill. So you're going to eventually have to sell some of the Bitcoin to pay the electric bill, because these supercomputers are using that much electricity and that much energy in order to produce that Bitcoin. So this is where the whole idea of HEX came from, because Richard Hart was a major holder in Bitcoin, and he probably still is. This guy was already rich. Like, understand, this is somebody that had already made money in crypto before he launched anything. So before he came up with the idea of HEX, he was already profitable from Bitcoin. He owned a lot of Bitcoin. So anyway, so this is what the original HEX on Ethereum was doing. It allows you to stake, but every time that you stake, or every time that you perform a transaction with HEX on Ethereum, there's a gas fee. That gas fee eventually is going to become too high to make it worthwhile, the transaction that you're trying to do on Ethereum. So what he does was he creates PulseChain. Now, PulseChain literally is an exact copy of Ethereum. The difference is that PulseChain has way lower fees, because the pricing is structured differently. Like, you can see on PulseChain, you know, when PulseChain launched, the pricing was somewhere 0.000, whatever it was. If you had sacrificed before it was launched, the sacrifice price is supposed to be 0.0001. So 3 zeros after the decimal point and then a 1. That's what's called the sacrifice price, or the sac rate. Okay? So PulseChain was created to be a better performing version of Ethereum. So here we have two things going on. HEX created to be a better performing, a better version of Bitcoin. And then PulseChain created initially because the HEX on Ethereum, the transaction fees were going to become too high. He was forward thinking and he saw the future and knew, okay, there's going to come a time when the Ethereum gas fees are too high and we're not really going to be able to transact the way that we would want to on Ethereum because the gas fees are going to be too high. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to copy Ethereum. Boom. I'm going to call it PulseChain. We're going to have lower fees. We're going to have a new coin that we can actually hold on to the same way that you can buy Ethereum. You'll be able to buy PulseChain. But now everything that is on the Ethereum network will copy over to the PulseChain. So understand, Ethereum is a blockchain. PulseChain is an exact copy of Ethereum. It's a blockchain. Every coin that's on Ethereum is going to be on PulseChain, including HEX. So now this is how the second version of HEX was born. All it is the copy from the Ethereum network now on the PulseChain network. So this is now why we have two versions of HEX. And I hope that was a good explanation. It really was. It was pretty good. So now you got two versions of HEX. You got the one on Ethereum, which is the one that I'm charting right now, the one that you see on the screen. And then you have the one on PulseChain. Okay? So back in, and I'm just looking at the chart to know when it was. In March, back in March, Richard Hart made a tweet. And what he said on the tweet is that the version of HEX that is on PulseChain is HEX. A lot of people took this as, oh, so you mean HEX ain't shit no more? He didn't say that. What he said was that the market has decided that the HEX that's on PulseChain is the quote unquote better version of HEX. Now, understand, well, why would he say that? Why would he say that and then make the HEX on Ethereum price go down? Well, he didn't make it go down, but people sold the HEX on Ethereum as a result of him making that tweet. Yes, they did. And you can see it right here. This big, long red candle, that was the day right there when he made the tweet. And the price of HEX on Ethereum, bloop, went straight down. People were saying, oh, HEX on Ethereum is dead. Oh, the HEX on PulseChain is the only HEX now. All of this is not true. Understand that markets have a way of rebalancing themselves out. Just because he made that tweet, it doesn't mean that the HEX on Ethereum is dead. We all created stakes of that HEX that's on Ethereum. I have stakes on there. I still have a bunch of HEX on Ethereum that I was buying before PulseChain launched. Me and probably millions or hundreds of thousands at least of other people. So it's not dead. Did it have an effect in its price movement as a result of him saying that? Sure did. It sure did. But let me tell you something. When the markets understand something, the markets are what control what happens in the prices. So the HEX on Ethereum is still there. It didn't go anywhere. In fact, if you look at some of the prices of the HEX, like down in this area, and you can see that it's been moving kind of sideways now for months. So from back in March to right around, I would say August. So between March and August is when it made its way to its low price, its swing low price. This is not its absolute low price, because remember that this version of HEX was launched back in 2019. This is the original version. The swing low was 3 zeros and a 9. 3 zeros and a 9. That's the swing low, and that was back in August. Sometime in August. But anyway, from that time, it did a 3x. Now, mind you, from the bottom back in August up until October of this year, this same HEX that everybody was saying was dead did a 3x from the lows. And the only reason that I'm talking about this and I'm pointing this out is to help you guys to understand how markets work, and how when you have a plan and you understand that something represents a problem being solved, it will manifest at some point in the future. So even when there's misunderstandings and there's things that people don't get at the time, it doesn't take away or stop what's going to happen in the future. It doesn't take that away. I'm saying all of that to say that the HEX on Ethereum is not dead. Did the price drop 90-something%? Yes. But in crypto, 90-something% drops are a common thing. You know how many times Bitcoin dropped about 95%? A bunch of times. Ethereum dropped 95% a bunch of times. Amazon dropped 90-something% a few times. So did any other stock that you can think of that is super successful. So understand that this is the market. And what happens is when you have these drops in an asset that is solving a problem, those drops in the price become your opportunity to accumulate. That's why the first thing I asked you guys when I came on was, I didn't do a live stream since, when was it, March? So for the last 7 months or so, my question was, have you been accumulating HEX? In other words, have you been buying up the HEX assets? But anyway, so let me move away from HEX on Ethereum. So that's the HEX on Ethereum. So now I'm going to pull up the HEX on PulseChain. Now, this HEX is the new HEX. This is the HEX that's on the new PulseChain network that was launched back in May. PulseChain was launched on May, I want to say the 13th. I think it was either May 12th or May 13th of 2023. So it's what? A little over a year. Well, not a little, because May to November that's 6 months. Yeah, it's about a year and a half old. Okay. So throughout this time, the HEX on PulseChain, it's moved within the ranges that you see. These assets it's like you're seeing these prices now, right? You're seeing all of this activity now. Because HEX is so young in this space, and because HEX is real DeFi, what's to come is going to blow your mind when it happens. Because you're not going to understand if you're not participating now. Damn, how did I miss it? This is what people will be thinking later on as time goes by. because everything in these markets repeat. The Bitcoin cycle every 4 years, you have the Bitcoin halving, then you have the bull market. Then you have a bear market for several years. Then you have the next Bitcoin halving. Then you have the bull market. Then you have a bear market for the next several years. Then you have the next bit. It just continues to cycle. The crypto markets in general follow the Bitcoin halving cycle, the every 4 year cycle. And the DeFi space that we're in now is so young and we're so early in it that all you literally have to do at this point in time is just buy every week. This is the same thing that I did with Bitcoin. The difference is I was not at the beginning of Bitcoin. Now, mind you, I was fairly early, if you want to call it that, in Bitcoin. Because when I started buying Bitcoin, it was trading in the $600 to $800 range. Think about that. Think about what I just said. When I started buying Bitcoin out the ATM machine, because you couldn't buy it online yet, this is how early it was. You couldn't buy it online. We had ATM machines where you could buy Bitcoin at the corner stores in New York City, at the bodegas. A lot of people saw the machine and they didn't even know what it was. Like, what's Bitcoin? People didn't even know what it was yet, at all. But when I started doing my research and I discovered what it was, I'm like, oh shit, this is the future. I'm just gonna buy this. I don't care. I'm just buying it every week. I used to take cash, deposit it into the machine, and it would print out a receipt that had a wallet on it. And that wallet is your Bitcoin. That's where it is. It's in that wallet. You can send it from that wallet to a digital wallet or whatever, your cold storage or however you want to do it. And this is how I was buying Bitcoin early on. But Bitcoin was $600. So I bought a bunch of Bitcoin early on, if you want to call it that, between $600 and $800 for a while. I was buying it every week, making sure, right? Now, we know today Bitcoin is at 90,000, right? How many X's is that? That's over 100 and that's like 100 plus X's. That's anywhere from 120 to 150 X's. And this was, I want to say 2016. And where we at now? 2024? So about 8 years? 150X in 8 years? I'm just helping to put this in perspective for you. So now, that's what Bitcoin did. Because remember, I was not at the beginning of Bitcoin. I came late. I came and Bitcoin was already $600. But you have to remember that there was a time when Bitcoin was less than $1. Y'all hold on. Let me go get my cord for this laptop before it dies. So y'all hold on a second. All right, I'm back. All right, so they what was I talking about? Oh, Bitcoin. So Bitcoin did roughly about 150x in 8 years. Okay? Again, I wasn't at the beginning of Bitcoin. Knowing what Bitcoin is, understanding the monetary system, knowing and understanding what real DeFi is supposed to be, and then discovering or being introduced to HEX, you put all of those things together and you have life-changing wealth. Life-changing. Because now we're at the beginning of the HEX ecosystem. Now, again, mind you, I missed the beginning of HEX too. And I mean the very beginning of HEX. But a lot of times what happens is you don't know what something is going to be until it proves that it's that thing, period. So I think that the whole thing with HEX is something that early on, if you were going to participate in it, you would have had to had known already all of the things that I'm sharing with you now. You would have had to already known, okay, this thing is supposed to be a better version of what Bitcoin was supposed to be. This thing is the real decentralized version of what this thing was supposed to be. This guy, I don't know why, but I'm trusting him. This guy, all the stuff that he's saying, I'm believing what he's saying. This guy's doing live streams for 8-9 hours talking about crypto. He must really love this shit. This guy is smart as shit. This guy is already rich. So you see why people believed. This is why people believed when HEX launched. So because people believed, HEX was able to perform and to prove what it is. It has done that. So now the same guy takes HEX and he's like, all right, HEX has proven what it is. You guys understand now, for those of you that benefited from it. But I'm going to keep going because I want the glory of being able to say that I made this shit work the way that it's supposed to work. All the shit that Satoshi Nakamoto was talking about. He's the guy that created Bitcoin, that no one ever met. No one ever heard him speak. No one ever seen him. Nobody knows what he looks like. Nobody knows if he's alive or dead. Yet the thing he created is at the core of the future of finance. You got whole pension funds. You have whole governments that adopted the damn coin as their reserve currency. You got Trump now talking about doing a Bitcoin reserve for the government. They want to just buy it. They want to buy a bunch of Bitcoin and just have it. The same way that they just have gold sitting in Fort Knox. Mind you, this is, again, something that was created by some dude that nobody ever met. Nobody knows him. Nobody ever seen him. So this goes to show you that it's not always even about knowing who it is. Because nobody knows Satoshi Nakamoto. Never seen him, never met him. But Bitcoin still does what it does. But here we have HEX. We know who created HEX. We see him. The SEC is suing him. They ain't gonna win. And when that case is over with, y'all are gonna see the way that people react to that. Because a lot of people are not doing anything within the HEX system, within the HEX ecosystem, just simply because, that's the guy, he's being sued by the SEC. Did y'all know that the SEC sued Coinbase too? Did y'all know that? Yeah. I'm just saying. So just because someone is being sued, it doesn't make them any less anything. In fact, what it probably makes them is someone that knows what they're doing in this space because they were able to get the attention of the SEC. SEC likes to sue people and just get paid off of them settling out of the court just so that they can collect the money from the lawsuit. They don't care about winning. They just want to get some money. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But again, so yes, there's a SEC case against Richard Hart. Sure is. As a matter of fact, his lawyers, he has a team of lawyers. Some of them are the same lawyers that Elon Musk used, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just saying. These lawyers, matter of fact, on Halloween, they were just in New York City, in Brooklyn. They had the hearing to dismiss the case. And the judge was asking the SEC a bunch of questions and they couldn't answer. So who knows? The case could be dismissed. If the case is dismissed, you might as well forget it. You might as well forget it. That's the solidification right there in public opinion of Richard Hart. But anyway, so again, although I wasn't at the very, very beginning of HEX in 2019, I'm cool with being this early still, because again, it's similar to not being able to participate in Bitcoin at the very, very beginning, but you were able to get in at the second cycle. Think about it like that. Think about it like that. Imagine getting Bitcoin at $30. This was the second cycle. I'm just saying. All right, so HEX, this is what the price performance has been thus far. So this hit its low point. Matter of fact, September 7th. September 7th was the low for the HEX on PulseChain. Now it's making its way back up. And what markets have a tendency to do is they will be within a certain range or a certain area until they break out. And when we're in the bull market, this is when you see the parabolic moves that just keep going. And it's like, damn, well, how high is this thing going to go? This is what Bitcoin has done historically. This is what Ethereum has done historically. When that bull market comes, you see the moves going up and up and up. These big ass moves up, big ass moves down. Big ass moves up higher, big ass moves down again. Big ass moves up even higher, big ass moves down, and so on and so forth. So within this space, the potential for the X's is insane. Understand that HEX from the bottom, its historical low did a 10,000X from the low to the high. That's a lot of X's in between. So it's not like you had to catch the very bottom, and it's not like you had to catch the very top. But just the fact that it did that in its first cycle, it shows you the potential of being early in an asset that makes sense. Understand that crypto is where the future is going, and real DeFi is where the future is going, because real DeFi is what Bitcoin was supposed to be. And like I said, because they centralized Bitcoin and Ethereum also, all of crypto pretty much, if it's not DeFi, it's centralized. This is why you don't see HEX and PulseChain listed on those exchanges, because you cannot control these coins. No one has central ownership over these coins. These coins are owned by the people only. There's something called the OA, or the originating address. The OA has the majority of the coins, and people are saying that it's Richard Hart, and it probably is. But that's the thing about DeFi. You don't know. You don't know who it is, even though we know who it is. But you don't know who it is. You can't prove who it is. Don't you realize that your wallets that you have when you're holding on to these assets are anonymous? Nobody knows it's you. So your wealth is hidden. Unless you're going around telling everybody. But again, nobody knows it's you. That's what DeFi is supposed to be. That's what it's supposed to be. That's it. All right, so that's the HEX chart. So let me take a look at PulseX. So I kind of explained what HEX was, the two versions of HEX. PulseX really gets me excited. This is the coin that I have the most of. The reason being is that PulseX is deflationary, meaning that the supply actually is decreasing constantly, which means that it's becoming more scarce. And we know that when things become more scarce, they become more valuable. When there's less of something, it becomes more valuable. Period. Let me take a real quick look in the chart. Let me see what y'all's talking about. Let me see. Yeah, I've been hearing about it. It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing to be excited about. I mean, central banks already have digital currency. Like, it's not like, it's anything new. All the currency that we use right now is digital. Your credit cards, your debit cards, all the money in your accounts, digital. You get paid from your job, direct deposit, digital. You don't even got to withdraw cash from the bank. You can use your debit card. You can use Tap. Right? I have a lot of, probably the majority of my cards are in my wallet on my phone. I use Tap all the time. And it's I have it like encrypted and all that type of stuff. So anybody can't just get into my phone and start tapping and using my shit. But there's also a way to turn it off and to block all transactions if you lose your phone, stuff like that. So you kind of protect yourself, through encryption and two-factor authentication and all that type of stuff. What else we got? Yeah, I mean, you hitting it on the head. It's printed from thin air, literally. Bitcoin has parabolic runs. There's a lot of interference that makes the algorithm have to correct itself. It'll be worth $1 million. Yeah, absolutely. I remember when I did a live stream talking about Bitcoin is going to be $1 million. This was a while back, and somebody had messaged me. They were so mad at me. They was like, "Man, you scamming everybody. Talking about Bitcoin. You said it's going to be $1 million." Yeah, I sure did. I didn't say when. Shit, I don't know when. What you talking about? Yeah, this is right. You're talking about Coinbase, right? Yep. Right, Coinbase is centralized. If they say it takes 7 days, you wait. That's a fact. Champ, what's happening, man? Yeah, and Coinbase is funny because eventually they take those limits off if you do a lot of transactions. You won't have those limits anymore, but it's still the same thing. Like they still have control over everything because the platform is centralized. So it doesn't even matter. You saw who? Richard Hart? That's funny. Oh, that's hilarious. Let me see. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. The DeFi wallets, just like JT is saying, MetaMask, Phantom Wallet. The one that I like the most is internetmoney.io because you can actually buy PulseChain directly in that wallet, like using a card, like a debit or a credit card. You can literally buy it directly on that platform, and it goes directly into your wallet. Crazy. So a lot of the direct on ramps and stuff like that are still coming. Like there's another site called changenow.io. That's another one that allows you to use a card, your debit or your credit card, to buy PulseChain directly. Powerful shit, man. The way that I've been doing it for a while now, I go to a site called PulseLN.com. And basically what you do is you go to your Cash App and you buy Bitcoin in your Cash App. A lot of people don't even know that you can do that. Yes, you can. Like literally the money that you put into your Cash App, you can use it inside the app, buy your Bitcoin, and then you can take that same Bitcoin, and when you go to PulseLN.com, you can take that Bitcoin and you can buy PulseChain, the token, directly. So that's the way that I usually do it, because it allows me to use my Cash App. Because like on Quotex, when you withdraw, you can withdraw to Bitcoin or to Ethereum. So what I usually do, I withdraw to Bitcoin, and then that Bitcoin ends up in my Cash App wallet. Then I take that same Bitcoin and I use that to buy PulseChain and everything else in the ecosystem that I want to get. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. You realize that one of the reasons that I started using Quotex was because you can use crypto to deposit and withdraw. See, it's like this is how my brain works. I'm always thinking ahead. So now we can take profits that we earn from trading and we can build our crypto wealth at the same time. Come on, man. Come on. Yep. Fact that millions think that their coins are decentralized when it's not, is like an illusion of privacy. Yeah, it is. It is. Because if you don't have the keys to your wallet, it's not your coins. You literally should be the only one that has access to your wallet. If someone else, another company or another exchange has control over the keys for your wallet, it's not your coins. Period. All right, so this is PulseX. Yeah, again, I love PulseX because it is deflationary. So I just have some lines here drawn out. Just identifying the days when like the all-time high and the all-time low took place. So the all-time low was back in May of last year when it launched. The all-time high also was back in May when it launched. So that initial activity, we couldn't even do anything at this time in the very beginning because the only thing that you could do is ratio trade. So unless you already had PulseChain in your wallet, you wasn't able to do nothing anyway. I don't think many people really were doing much until like June, July of 2023. So PulseChain, not PulseChain, excuse me, PulseX, it hit this swing low back in September of last year. It hit another swing low September of this year. It hit the sack rate. When was this? This was March of this year when the movement came back up here. Then it hit another swing low down here in September of this year. And this is where we are now. This is where we are now over here. So again, you know, like I have these charts pulled up and I have, you know, like different lines and stuff drawn. Like what I attempt to do, I put a line on the day when I buy, but I missed a lot of days. I can't keep up. I be buying every day. I ain't even gonna lie. So I got a few lines that I have in here, but I've been buying PulseX like literally every at least every other day since how far back? Yeah, since back here, September last year. Yeah, for like a year now, I've been buying just PulseX literally just every week, man. Just every week. And the reason that, you know, I reiterate the whole every week thing is because, again, all of this now that we see, like you see how it looks like it's something. This ain't going to be nothing on the chart in the future. This going to be a little blip on the chart in the future. Like if you can pull this down, like I have a line here marked for the 100X. So 100X from the lows of PulseX. The low price of PulseX, which was 507156, is this bottom line right here. 100X from here is up here. And 100X is, wait, is that right? 100X. Yeah, because it's 3 zeros. Because the low is 5 zeros. Yeah, so 100X is 3 zeros and a 7. So 100X from the bottom is a 7X from the sack price, which is 3 zeros and a 1. So 3 zeros and a 1 is the sack rate. 100X from the bottom down here is 3 zeros and a 7. So we like one of the projections that I had, and it's funny too because I heard a lot of people mention the same number, is 2 zeros and a 2. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to do that during this cycle, but I'm just saying 2 zeros and a 2 is right here where this line is. So let me see if I can put a line there. Hold on. Let me clone this. And I just want to put this on 2 zeros and a 2 real quick. Right there. 2 zeros and a 2. And just see where it is. So it's right there, right? And I don't even know how many X's it is. I'm about to find out. Let me just leave it blank for right now. So from the bottom to 2 zeros and a 2 is I want to say 270X. But I don't know if I'm looking at that right. But I think so. Let me see something. 270. Yeah, so yeah, roughly about a 270X because here to here is 100X. But how is this 100 Yeah. Okay. So 2 zeros and a 2 is roughly about a 270x from the bottom. From the all-time low. Now, do you hear the numbers that I'm saying? 100, 270. Remember what I told you a HEX did? Remember I told you a HEX did a 10,000x? So it's not like these numbers are just crazy numbers. They're really not. They're really not. Those numbers are numbers that are definitely achievable during this cycle alone. And this is the first cycle for these coins. So this is PulseX, mind you. So from where the price currently is to that 270x level is roughly about 57x. So in other words, you just accumulating now in this area where price currently is, for it to reach the price projection that I gave, that 0.002, which a lot of other people are also using the same number. I don't know why, but that's just a number. I forgot how I even came up with that number. But anyway, yeah, from where price currently is to that area is 58x. Even to the 100x level, let's see where that would be. That's around 19x. 19x. So these X's are coming as we move into the future. All of this is going to be a little blip. And the further, like when that chart really starts moving and time goes by and it just continues to move, and next thing you know, it's just somewhere and it's like, oh shit, this thing is at a penny. This thing is at 10 cents. Like all of that's coming in the future. And you all this time have just been accumulating the assets slowly over time each week with small amounts of money. I'm not telling people, that I'm over here putting in thousands of dollars every week. That's not what I'm doing. But 20 here, 30 there, 50 there, 100 over here. Them little increments of you just accumulating something that's going to be valuable in the future, just buy it every week. That's what I do. This is the same thing I did with Bitcoin. Same thing. Same thing. And this ecosystem is so rich. Like, so this is PulseX. So what else did I not look at? I don't think I looked at PulseChain. And understand too, like this is something else. I'm not picking coins like, oh, I'm gonna, I'm only gonna invest in HEX, or I'm only gonna buy HEX. I'm buying HEX. I got PulseChain. I got PulseX. This one is PulseChain that I'm pulling up now. I gotta be some of this. This is PulseChain. Yeah, let me fix this chart. And I love when I see these drops and these dips, man, I get excited. Like during all of this time, this was back from March down through August. You know how much more of the asset you're getting during this time as it's moving lower? It's insane. So I have heard projections for PulseChain. This is PulseChain. I've heard projections for PulseChain of a penny. Let's look and see where that's at. Let's look. Yeah, let me clone this line. Let's see where penny is. $0.01. So this is going to be price projection. Look at how far up a penny is. Look at this. So the all-time low for PulseChain is what? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 zeros and a 3. Right? A penny pulse is a 300x. And listen, this is not me just making up numbers. This is people that do have a really good understanding of markets and have a good understanding of the HEX ecosystem and liquidity and, things of that nature. They're coming up with these projections and these numbers. And you got to understand something. You talking about a penny pulse. Where do you think HEX going to be? All right. Let me just help to put it in perspective again. So this is pulse. And as a matter of fact, let me mark these. So this is the all-time low, 0.003. Let me copy that. All-time low. So I'll know just by looking what the number is. And what was the all-time high so far? There we go. 3 zeros and then 29140. All right, cool. All right, so that's PulseChain. So let me go back to HEX real quick, right? Watch this. Because I don't even think I have anything marked off on HEX. So let me put $1 HEX. Let me see how far away from this area that is. So price projection, $1. $1. So let's see where that is. You see how the line just disappeared? Because it's all the way up here. So this is HEX on PulseChain. So from where we currently are to $1 is 48x. That's a 48x from where we are now. And understand we're at the top of the current range that we're in. Let me measure from the bottom area where we were back in September. Look at that, 260x. Yo, man. Y'all have to understand that a lot of times in markets, the markets end up doing things way beyond what we thought they would do. These are very realistic destinations that I'm using. Because you have, like just think about all of this for a moment. How many people even know about this yet? In the crypto space. A lot of people do know. A lot of people don't know. Many people who do know have not moved into this ecosystem yet. Like I mentioned earlier, that, you know, a lot of people don't like the fact that, oh, this guy's being sued by the SEC. Oh, HEX, you know, dropped 99%. They don't like these things. So they wait until the green candles start coming. They wait until the markets start moving up. HEX right now is at the top of this range. HEX is going to break out of this range and it's going to start just moving up. Same way Bitcoin is. This is what markets do. And you have to understand that whatever the narrative is for whatever it is, whatever the narrative is at the time, is going to fuel the movement, because people wait until markets start moving before they start putting money into the market. And this is how markets overshoot. And they do something even crazier than what people thought that they could do. It's like, oh shit, why is it doing this? Damn, why is it going so high? This is why once you know what asset you're going to be putting your money into, that's all you do. You just put it in there. You don't think about nothing else. This is what the whole thing behind buy Bitcoin every week was for me. I used to talk about it all the time. I did a whole website that led to the podcast that I did when I was talking about buy Bitcoin every week. So this is a very simple concept. This is how you build your wealth. This is a wealth transfer. All of this fake money that's out there has to end up going somewhere. A lot of it is going to go into the crypto space. As time goes by and people become more aware of what real DeFi is, and people want to have their assets anonymous. They don't want everybody all in their business knowing how much crypto they have. You think that people like that? People don't like that. But people don't even know that that's what it is yet. People are thinking, oh, well, yeah, I have, you know, my crypto with Coinbase. I have my crypto with this platform or that platform. Okay, so you think that you have your crypto, but you don't really have it. Because if something happens to one of those platforms, they are the ones that will limit your access to your coins. They can just, like, literally right now, if you got a bunch of money or a bunch of coins on Coinbase, and Coinbase decides to tell you, all right, you can't make withdrawals for 10 days. What you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You're gonna do exactly what JT said. You're gonna wait. Because you don't have a choice. This is what I'm saying. Real DeFi prevents anyone from being able to have that power over you. And that's what this HEX ecosystem represents. Come on now. Come on. Carrie, what's going on, sir? Yeah, I wonder if RH is gonna go live again at all. I think that he might make videos, but I don't know if he's gonna stream. If I was him, I wouldn't stream no more. For a very specific reason. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We still doing what we do. Man, I'm gonna start posting again for both Quotex and for NADEX. Like I said, I kind of took a hiatus for several months. A much needed one. Because the amount of content that I have out there is insane. The amount of trainings that I did is crazy. I just needed to take a break. A lot. I have a lot, but not enough. Let's just say that. Swaggy over there pocket watching. Oh man, that's funny. Oh, so what didn't I talk about? Oh, ink. So I'm all right. I'm running out of time for this stream because I don't really want to be on here this long, but I'll mention it briefly. The incentive token is another one that I'm accumulating, and I'm actually building a significant bag of incentive. And I'm going to kind of talk about it real quick as to why. The incentive token is the token that you receive when you do liquidity providing on the platform. If you don't know what liquidity providing is, look it up. I don't talk about none of that. I don't go into that, even though I may do it in the future. But right now, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing LP, but I do have a basic understanding of it. In any case, this token is what you earn when you provide liquidity on certain coins. So, for example, if you provide liquidity on PulseX and Pulse, what that means is that you are taking a bag of your PulseX, a bag of your Pulse, and you're making it available on the platform, and you're providing liquidity to people that are buying and selling back and forth and in and out of both of those coins. Because you're providing liquidity, you are given the incentive token. It's like a reward. So it's like you're earning a percentage of yield because you are liquidity providing. That's what incentive token is. Okay. So the incentive token is a coin. It's a coin, just like all the other ones, just like PulseChain, just like PulseX, just like HEX. The incentive token, to me, is going to be very valuable in the future because it has a limited supply. Remember earlier I mentioned narrative. This is the narrative for incentive token. Incentive token is earned, and incentive token is rare. It has a limited supply. It's the token that people earn when they do liquidity providing. So as the prices of the ecosystem and the coins within the ecosystem rise as we move into the future, for those who are liquidity providing, what are they earning? They're earning the incentive token. What happens when people just start holding on to the token and they don't sell it on in the market? What happens? Remember, it's a limited supply. If people just hold the token and don't sell it, what happens to the price? Understand, when incentive first was made available, the price of incentive token went up to $80. This was back in May. Now, because the ecosystem in general, the prices of all the coins within the ecosystem were being sold off, it caused prices to go down. Now, as prices went down, the people that were earning incentive token were dumping the token. In other words, they were just selling it. Like, all right, well, I'm earning this, but everything's going down, so I'm just going to sell it and buy something else. And you had the incentive token decline. So in December of 2023, this same token went down as low as 39 cents. Y'all pay attention. It went down as low as 39 cents. Remember why people are selling it. And understand, just because they're selling it, it doesn't change what it is. It is an asset with a limited supply. Went down as low as 39 cents in December. When it climbed back up, it came back up as high as $10. I want you to realize how big these moves are. So from that low, just back up to $10 is a 23x. Mind you, this is a token that is given to people for liquidity providing. Limited supply. It doesn't have an OA, meaning that there's no one entity that has all or the majority of the coins. Unlike how PulseChain and PulseX are set up, they have the bulk of their coins in the originating address. There is no OA for the incentive token. See, I observe and I watch and I pay attention and I take my time to fully understand things. I understand ink. I didn't know what it was at first, didn't give a shit. Then I started watching, paying attention, doing some researching. And what made the most sense to me, it's a limited supply. That's all I needed to hear. I'm like, oh shit, limited supply. Wow, that's crazy. And there's no one individual that has the majority of them. These tokens are spread out all over the place. But again, how do you get it? Well, you can buy it. In other words, you can swap your Pulse or whatever coins that you want to for it, or you can do liquidity providing. Those are the two ways that you get the coin. But regardless of how you get it, it's a limited supply. There's only but a certain number of these coins, and it's within the HEX ecosystem. And we already know what the HEX ecosystem is going to do. So it's a part of the same ecosystem. All right, so that's my little rant on ink. That's why I'm accumulating ink. And look at where the prices are at now, $2. It was just at $1 and change on September 4th. Remember, December last year, it was at 39 cents. By March, it was at $10. So you see how it's swinging and how it's moving. And remember that it went up to as high as 80. So when I see that this has this existing price history, it means that the token was there at some point already. So we're not even doing projections on where it could go. Just based on where it has been already, you can look and see where it's going again. Does that make sense? So from where we at now, we had $2 and change. From where we are now, just back up to the all-time high is 34x. So the longer that it's sitting in these ranges, all of this is giving you more time. This is all time to accumulate. You got to love it, man. You got to love it. I love when these coins go down. See, I think in reverse, because I don't think in terms of, oh man, I wish this would go up. I wish it would go down first. See, if I understood this early on, like during this time, I would have way more. But I recently started to discover what incentive was. And I forgot, I'm trying to remember when I first bought some. I think when I first bought some, it might have been back here. It might have been back here. Or maybe like at the beginning of the year, I had first bought some. Just a little bit. I bought just a little. And like I said, I didn't fully understand it yet. I understand it now, though. So anyway, that's why I am buying incentive. I'm focused on incentive actually. So what I'm doing is I'm taking about 50% of when I make a buy each week, and half of that is going into incentive. Period. So that's what I'm doing with incentive. Another one is PDAI. I don't know if you guys have even heard of DAI before, but DAI is DAI. DAI is a coin that was on Ethereum. And this has its own story altogether. I mean, I'm gonna share some videos with y'all in the chats, so y'all can kind of, if you want to, familiarize yourself with the story of DAI. But this is crazy. This is another crazy one, and just know I'm accumulating this one too. So what I've been doing is I've been taking half and I've been buying ink, and the other half primarily I've been buying this one. So this is the DAI that is on PulseChain. So okay. And let me just say this so that you guys don't get confused. And this chart look crazy because it's just been going up because people have been kind of catching on to this story a little faster than a lot of the other coins in the ecosystem. I'm just catching on. But just the narrative for this one is so crazy. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta make sure I have some of this too. But anyway, so with DAI is a stable coin. And I'm not sure if you guys understand what that is, but stable coins are like USDC, USDT, DAI. These are stable coins, meaning that these are coins that are pegged to the price of $1 through liquidity and through automated market making robots that keep the prices level at the dollar level. This is how these stable coins are able to remain at the price of $1. It's called a peg. They're pegged to $1. And this is just a real basic, quick, not even the education on it, but just an idea so that you guys have an idea of what I'm talking about, just so that it's on the stream. Yeah, see, so Carrie understands. Richard Hart had mentioned that he wants to create a stable coin. And not really create a stable coin, but he wants to have a stable coin. And I believe that it's going to be PDAI. Yeah, Axis did mention this. He did. Yeah, Axis and a couple of other ones that stream had mentioned that. And this is a good question. Is it like yield farming per day when you provide liquidity? Yes. It is, yes. I think that liquidity providing is yield farming. I think that they're synonymous. Yeah, so what the hell was I just saying? Well, anyway, so these are the coins that I'm accumulating, the core coins. So we got of course, PulseChain, PulseX, HEX. And I have both HEX on PulseChain and I also have HEX on Ethereum. I'm not really buying more HEX on Ethereum right now. If I buy HEX, it would be the HEX on PulseChain because I already had a large bag of HEX or the HEX on Ethereum already before PulseChain even launched. I had a nice bag of HEX on Ethereum. So I'm not really buying that now. But if there weren't these other opportunities, I would be buying this HEX on Ethereum on the PulseChain blockchain because it's been sold down so much. Like I said, I like to accumulate during all of this shit. I love to buy when it's doing this. I love that shit. Love it. But anyway, so we got PulseChain, we got PulseX, we got HEX on PulseChain or PHEX, and we have Inc, which is the incentive token. That's this one. And we have the PDAI. And the PDAI just simply is the PulseChain DAI because there are two different DAIs. You have the wrapped DAI, which is the DAI that is the exact copy from Ethereum. And then you have the PulseChain DAI. And actually, let me not say the wrapped copy. It's the wrapped version of the DAI from Ethereum. You have that exists on PulseChain. So on the bridge, when you bridge from Ethereum to PulseChain, in other words, when you move value from Ethereum to PulseChain, in order for the Ethereum coin to exist on PulseChain, it has to be wrapped. So, for example, the HEX from Ethereum that lives on PulseChain is wrapped HEX from Ethereum. But then you also have the copy that was copied over from Ethereum to PulseChain. That's the PHEX. So that's how you have two versions of HEX that live on PulseChain. One is the wrapped version of the Ethereum HEX. The other is the PulseChain version of HEX that lives on the PulseChain blockchain. So the same applies for DAI. You have DAI that lives on Ethereum. Then you have DAI that lives on PulseChain that's wrapped. That is the wrapped DAI is the Ethereum version. It has the same price and everything as the DAI from Ethereum. So if the DAI is priced at $1 from Ethereum, what's the wrapped DAI price at? Price at $1. Now you have the PulseChain version of that. That's PDAI. That has its own pricing. That's the pricing that we see here on this chart. Let me go to it. Excuse me. That's the pricing that you see here. See? It's at 2 zeros and a 5. So this one is not at $1. Excuse me. It's not at $1 yet. And this is why I want you guys to, just educate yourselves on the narrative for DAI, for PDAI, I should say. Because if Richard Hart wants to use this as his stable coin on PulseChain, that means it's going to be pegged to $1. And just the fact that we know that, and just the fact that people believe that it will be his stable coin, people are going to accumulate this coin. People are going to buy it. The price is going to go up. And if you ask me, the price will go even past $1 before he would decide to peg to $1. It'll go higher than that. Because right now it's in the market. It's available to everyone to buy. So just think about that for a moment. The people are thinking, oh, well, he's going to use this as a stable coin. I'm going to buy it. Yeah, they're going to buy it. And again, this is one of the reasons why you see the chart looking the way it looks. If you look at how this chart looks, it looks a lot different than many of the other charts. This is because people have been understanding and believing this narrative now for a while. As I said, I just discovered it, but it don't matter. It doesn't matter. From where we are now, just to the dollar peg, look at the X's. I don't know if y'all can see that, but that's like 140 of them, just to $1. I've heard people mention $2, $3, $5, even $10. And listen, I don't put anything past crypto. I just don't. Because people never thought that Bitcoin would be what it is. People never even believed that Bitcoin would ever be anything. And now look at what's happening. Not a pension fund that ain't going to own it. Not a 401k that ain't going to have it in there. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up. Let me check real quick, see if y'all had any other questions. Feel free to ask a question. Go ahead. Go ahead and ask your question or make your comment. All right, so if you have any other questions, throw them in the chat real quick. I'm going to give you about 2 minutes, if that. And then we're going to wrap it up. So I think that this was a really good stream. I think that this is very powerful information that I'm able to share and to communicate. There's a lot of content creators out there just in this HEX ecosystem in general. This is a very strong community. Like the HEX community out there is crazy. And like people have really been like this for years. It's like it's not new. Throughout the bear market, throughout all of the FUD, throughout the SEC case, people still making content every day. It's crazy. It's crazy. This is interesting. CEO of Go Orbit released the DAI coin and then shut down Go Orbit. After the DAI coin release, they scammed all the MLM investors. Yeah, it seems like with MLMs and really just MLMs in general, I don't really like them. I don't like them. A lot of them just fall apart. They end up falling apart. I think that model, that business model, is unsustainable. You're not going to have a large majority of people able to be successful in MLM, just in general. You're going to have a handful of people, and usually it's the ones that were, there or present at the very beginning of when the MLM started that benefits from that. From what it sounds like this guy did, it sounds like he has the keys to that coin, and he was able to do that. And it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate when people, scam. It really is. This is another reason why I love DeFi so much, because if the coin itself is not decentralized, meaning that there's someone that has access to that coin, and it hasn't been proven that whoever that person is not going to do anything to manipulate the coin, then you really don't know what it is that you're getting into. I mean, let's just look at Bitcoin for a moment. people still don't know and never met Satoshi Nakamoto. Nobody ever met him. But it has not stopped what Bitcoin has been able to accomplish all this time, because by him not doing anything to manipulate the coin, by no one being able to hack into the coin has proven itself, right? That's the only thing that we have to go off of. The only thing that you have to go off of as far as Bitcoin not being a scam is the fact that it's proven that it's not a scam. So that's the only thing that you have is the proof. And this is the same thing that's going to happen in the DeFi space. But it has to be set up as DeFi from the beginning. This is what Richard Hart has done with the ecosystem that we have access to now. The whole HEX ecosystem. You know, HEX in the beginning, it was audited a bunch of times. His development team, his dev team that he has behind it, I think that he has something called GitLab. And these guys are total professionals. They know how to code, and they know, like, he knows his shit. He knows about the space, and he was, you know, one of the early people in Bitcoin and stuff like that. You got to just know enough for you to make a decision and to believe whatever the narrative is that exists for whatever the asset is. It's kind of like, you know, companies, you know, to see, like Elon Musk. Why do people trust him? Because he's proven not to be a scammer. Why do you trust any CEO of any company? Because they've proven themselves not to be a scammer. Why do you trust any company? Why do you trust Apple? When you buy Apple stock, why, like, you're trusting that Apple is going to be or continue to be a legitimate company that runs its business efficiently, yada, yada, yada. So there's always an element of trust that you have to have in whatever it is. But there are ways that you can keep yourself away from potentially being scammed. MLM, staying away from that, that's off the rip, will help you to not be scammed. If something is attached to an MLM, I don't want nothing to do with it. Just like in the past, people have attached Forex to an MLM. Absolutely not. No. People have attached crypto to an MLM. No. No, we're not doing that. Yep. Well, yeah, this was the whole purpose of cryptography. And cryptography is just the long word for crypto. That's what crypto is. So encryption was used to prevent anyone from having access to the coin. This is why I said what Bitcoin was intended to be. Because Bitcoin itself as a coin, yeah, you can't hack it. You can't get into it to do anything to it. But the way that they centralize Bitcoin is by forcing companies to collect your information before you get access to the coin. That's how they did it. That's how they did it. They're very sneaky. They figured out how to do it. So by companies collecting your information, they know who owns what wallets. And if your coins are on an exchange, they know that that's your wallet. So the coins in that wallet belongs to you because we know that you are attached to this wallet. Because your platform, Coinbase or Kraken or crypto.com, collected your information and we know that you own that wallet. Easy. So now we just centralized Bitcoin. That's how they did it. Yes, exactly. It needs to be an actual business that is providing a service, a product, and that's pretty much it. You know, if their payout structure is based on an MLM or, you know, like network marketing, I'm not saying that it's not a model that people can use to become successful, because many people have become successful in network marketing. But what I'm saying is that it's not a sustainable business model, period. It's not a sustainable model. Yeah, but anyway, so honey, these were good questions. I appreciate this. I appreciate this. Good comments, I should say. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna wrap it up. I think that this was an excellent stream. So I do have some live streams coming after this one. I'm not going to say how soon, but I'll be doing some live market observations, coffee and charts maybe. Some more HEX streams. This HEX stream definitely was overdue. I think that now was a great time to do it, just because we've had so much time just to see how the market is setting up for the bull run. So as I mentioned, we're right at the beginning of the bull run. This bull market is going to be something else. It's going to be very interesting. So 2025 is going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. We're going to see what happens. But yeah, man, so that's my motto. I used to say buy Bitcoin every week. Now I'm saying buy HEX every week. And that's what I'm doing. So disclaimer, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just sharing with you what I'm doing. All right. All right, y'all. So I'm going to wrap it up. I'll see you guys on the next one. Y'all have a good one. You know what it is. Mark Fuller, Team Alliance. So this is volume number 14. Let's talk about HEX, baby. In the bag. All right, y'all. I'm out. See y'all on the next one. Love, peace, and soul.
What it is, y'all? Center Hill, see the half, what it do? Hey, Church Street, South Grand, stand the king. Yeah, here we go.